All right, well, welcome officially to our webinar to talk about the Professional Horticulture Program. As I said, we are really excited that so many of you are interested and have hopped on here, taken the time out of your day to learn about, a little bit more about this really wonderful program that is near and dear to all of us here at Longwood. My name is Lauren Hill. I am the Student Programs Manager. I have been in this role for a number of years, but previous to this role, I have a background in horticulture, so I am extra passionate about reintroducing this program. Happy to have experienced, I was an intern myself, but have worked alongside many professional horticulture alums throughout the years, and I find this program to be incredibly beneficial, and it's exciting to watch everyone's careers take off when they leave Longwood. So we'll go ahead and get started. Say that until we figure out why I can't change the screen. There we go. Okay. Snafu's out of the way. So a little bit about Longwood Gardens, if you're not familiar already. We always talk about ourselves as the living legacy of Pierre S. Dupont, who bought this property because he shared a passion for horticulture and nature. The property that Longwood is on, he purchased in order to save the trees and to just kind of conserve this beautiful area of nature up here in Pennsylvania. We are 1,100 acres, about 25 miles west of Philadelphia, in a little area called Kennett Square, PA. So certainly not an urban environment, definitely more suburban, not exactly rural, but we do have some beautiful landscapes surrounding us and a lot of really wonderful gardens in the area. So we are 200 acres of formal gardens within that 1,100 acres of property that is Longwood. And these formal gardens and meadows are what is open to the public. And this includes 3 acres under glass in our conservatory. So the annual attendance at Longwood, we are lucky to be at 1.79 million guests. Just, you know, like, can we round up just a smidge? But yeah, 1.8 million. And I think that's one of the things that makes us really exceptional and unique. We are focused on amazing horticulture, but also this really important connection with the people who are also passionate about plants and horticulture, and the ability that we have as stewards of Longwood to inspire others to be passionate about our environment as well. Longwood is able to grow about 70% of the plants that we use on display here. I think that's really unique. We're able to curate the plant palette the way that we would like, growing plants of a certain size, cultivars. That's a wonderful control that we have over what we're able to create in our gardens. In 2025, the Longwood Reimagine program project just completed and opened. Very exciting. This opened 17 new acres to our garden, including our new West Conservatory complex and some new outdoor landscapes as well. So we are a community of learners. This definitely goes beyond our students at Longwood. Our community of learners includes everyone who is employed here, who volunteers here, and who chooses to come and visit us. Horticulture is run, fueled, inspired by passion and interest and curiosity. So we are lucky to have this these programs here at Longwood of professional learners who are here to gain practical experience, learn career skills, and study with our experts. And it includes these programs that we have listed here below. So our professional horticulture program, but also our college and university internship program, international internee and trainee program, and our Royal Horticultural Society and Garden Club of America fellowship. And all of these students are who make up our student community, working and living here at Longwood together. So the Professional Horticulture Program, affectionately called the PH program, has been in practice since 1970, and we have had over 350 students who have graduated from this program at Longwood. I love this great black and white photograph here. This was back in the day, not that long ago of a day, when all of the classes were out of the bachelor classroom, which was known for having no windows. So with the Longwood Reimagined project being completed, we also were able to complete some fabulous student classrooms equipped with very nice windows and plenty of natural light. So that already is a vast improvement. Our graduates have gone on into wonderful, successful careers, both in public and private gardening, commercial horticulture, arboriculture, education. Many have become entrepreneurs in their own right, running their own successful businesses, and more. So this 2-year hands-on immersive educational experience is tuition free. We are lucky that we are able to provide it tuition free. And we're combining coursework, projects, and practical experience all melted together to be the Professional Horticulture Program. And this program caters to students directly out of high school, students who have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or are total career changers. We have students graduate as young as 18, 19 years old and as old as in their 60s. So it really is open to anyone who is actively pursuing horticulture as a career. And we're excited to bring our next cohort in January of 2027. Things that we are hoping that all Longwood graduates are leaving here with. The Professional Horticulture Program is hoping to create well-prepared and skilled horticulturalists with practical knowledge, ready to enter the green career workforce, to be prepared for all the changes in this current climate and industry, and hoping to provide them with tools they need to be successful in various different career paths, whether that be public horticulture, estate gardening, greenhouse production, or land conservation. We are trying to instill a strong plant identification knowledge into all of our students so they can go off anywhere in the world and feel comfortable with their plant knowledge palette, and also to prepare them to be strong professionals, entering the workplace with experience with working with various teams, volunteers, full-time staff, part-time staff, and fellow students. Also having basic skills, hopefully a general idea of how public garden management works, budgeting, hospitality, software tools, all the kind of smaller skills that you wouldn't always think about, but still directly affect your success as a horticulturalist. And then one thing I think is incredibly special about Longwood are the natural mentorships that just occur within that 2-year period of working here. You very naturally become attached to those other professionals who have passions that are similar to yours, or are introduced to someone with a passion that you didn't know was yours until they open the door for you. So these relationships, I think, really make this a special opportunity. So some of our core program components, we are looking at a core curriculum of coursework and practical experience. And we are focused in these 3 areas of conservatory display, greenhouse production, and outdoor landscapes. These 3 teams give everyone sort of a good, broad base knowledge of what Longwood does well, and these horticultural elements that will help you with whatever path of horticulture you decide to go down. During your entire 2 years in this program will be propped up with plant identification courses going at all times. We are hoping, again, to have all of our students leave here having a wide knowledge of an array of plants native to here, but also native to many other places in the world as well. And then a horticulture specialization. We'll talk more about that in a couple of slides. Then there are the signature elements that Longwood has that we have always had a part of our professional horticulture program, and we are holding on to many of those as well. And then always with the professional development opportunities. So what we're focusing on going forward with this new class starting in 2027 is a core curriculum and coursework and horticulture work blocks. So when the program would begin in January and February would be focused on coursework block number 1, all the while having plant identification and horticulture skill building happening at the same time. So these are class days. This is a time to be immersed in getting to know the cohort, getting to know instructors, and focusing on homework and class days. And then we will change in March through May to your first horticulture work rotation block. This is where you are going to be solely focused on developing those horticulture relationships and also getting to know one of these 3 areas that we mentioned previously. from the conservatory, greenhouse production, and outdoor landscapes. You'll be doing a rotation through all of those, all the while still with the plant identification classes. So most horticulture work rotations are going to begin at 6 in the morning and run to 2:30 in the afternoon. And then there may be an evening or two during that week where there will be a plant identification class. Built into that work week will be time for professional and leadership development opportunities as well. And then we swap. We move into June and August, and you're back into coursework block number 2. So completely focused on taking classes, different instructors, plant identification. Again, you'll notice this theme. And then we're swapping again back to your horticulture work rotations at what would be a great time of year as Longwood is changing seasons and gearing up for our Christmas display. So definitely areas of opportunity to grow in our professional and leadership development with that. And then year 2, you're going to start again in January and February, staying in your horticulture work rotations, because as in the past, this is 2 classes are running at the same time. So you would become, the class of 2027, starting in 2027, would become the second year students, and we would bring in another cohort in January 2028. So they would be in their coursework block, and you would be in your horticulture rotation block. Again, we swap, and then starting in May of that year is when the horticulture specialization would begin. Still plant identification, and we're moving on to our student exhibition gardens and installation and maintenance timeframe, all the way running up until graduation, which would be early to mid-December. Look at that. It was so easy. 2 years in a blink. Here's an example of some of our core curriculum. No need to worry about reading all of these right now. All of this information is available to you on the website. So if you need to spend a little bit more time looking at it, it is available for you there. But you can see the variety of classes and plant identification that we would be covering. And then the horticulture specializations. So for that final 9 months of the Professional Horticulture Program, this allows students to dive deeper into one of the 3 horticultural specializations you'll see listed here: outdoor gardens, underglass, conservation, and stewardship. And you'll see some of the areas that you'll get a little bit more of a deeper dive. This allows students not to feel like they're being torn in a lot of different directions when possibly they've already identified that their focus is, I know I want to be in greenhouse production, or I know that land conservation is important to me and I would like to learn more about this. So everyone has that opportunity to identify what area of horticulture speaks to them. Here is an example of some of our master classes and knowledge blocks. These are going to be peppered throughout the entire 2 years. So reserving time on Thursdays for these extra professional and leadership development opportunities, as well as skill development. A lot of these items are things that Longwood does really well: creating hanging baskets, our amazing bonsai collection, water lilies, fruit tree pruning, specialty items such as that we want to make sure that everyone does get a chance to experience and learn about. Soft skills, hard skills, trying to put as much into 2 years as possible. And then, as I mentioned, those items that were kind of distinctly Longwood, areas of these professional horticulture programs that have always been sort of, let's call them tried and true, areas that the students are always enthusiastic about and we feel gives a really great learning opportunity. So the garden practicum, the student exhibition gardens, SEGs, the Red Lion Row Farm, multiple student plant sales, and then the study trip. And then right back to the relationships, the building of this professional network. Horticulture is an incredibly small world and it feels that everyone knows everyone. But when you're getting started, you may not know everyone yet. And this is a great opportunity for you to make those connections. We are situated in an area that is surrounded by other really fantastic public gardens, and you will be able to travel around, visit those, and meet those professionals who are maintaining other public gardens in our area, thus expanding your professional network. The conversation starts as you're working alongside someone, weeding, pruning, doing any of the number of horticulture projects we all have to work on. And next thing you know, someone has a friend who lives in California who knows this person at Filoli or somewhere in Colorado, and that connection is made, and you're able to pursue that further. Take advantage of that wherever you go in horticulture. As well as conferences. Longwood hosts the Today's Horticulture Symposium, as well as other conferences throughout the year. And then the Woody Plant Conference and the Perennial Plant Conference are also available for our professional horticulture students to attend. And those are hosted at Scott Arboretum. So again, branching you out to another garden in the area. And having a dedicated mentor. Something we want to encourage going forward is having that person at Longwood that each of our students has a connection with and has kind of that relationship to someone to turn to help guide them through their journey at Longwood and hopefully beyond. And then there are always the opportunities to meet and engage with our vast ProHort alumni group. So this is a huge investment for Longwood. Again, it's a wonderful thing that we're able to do with our tuition-free program, but the investment that we are making in each one of our students looks like this. Our bi-weekly stipend that is provided for you is $31,000 a year, and it is paid every other week through essentially a paycheck. Just to help you offset living costs and make this something attainable for everyone to be able to access. Our tuition-free coursework, rent-free housing, equipment training and certifications. We provide your uniform, tools, safety shoes, prescription safety glasses if you need them, as well as paid personal time off and paid holidays. There are wonderful opportunities to get your family and friends into the gardens with our tickets, discounts through the cafe and the garden shop, and a number of other really wonderful benefits as well. The great benefit of housing located right here on Longwood Gardens property, Red Lion Row, affectionately referred to as the Row. In fact, I believe that is my house that I lived in when I was an intern. This continues to be a legacy that we value and hold on to, stemming back from Pierre Dupont's time. He had staff employees living on the gardens years ago, and we continue to do the same today, not only housing up to 40 students, but many full-time staff members as well. So these 40 students who live on property are a combination of professional horticulture interns, international students, and our domestic interns as well. 3 to 4 bedroom houses. They can be single or mixed gender housing, depending on everyone's preference. And there is access to the Red Lion Row student gardens where students will have access to all of these items to help assist them in their practicum garden beds. So what you can expect from this experience is a full-time experience, work experience, or rotation course experience. So we're looking at almost a full week's worth of work or a full week's worth of classes, depending on what rotation you're in at the time. There will be occasional weekend watering rotation and holiday coverage, as well as assisting with snow operations during the winter. So these are all things that horticulture staff members participate in. And while we are including you into this full-time team at Longwood, these necessary items are included as well. You would be working alongside our full-time horticulturalists, our part-time horticultural assistants, students, volunteers, and engaging with guests throughout the gardens. I think that's a wonderful opportunity. Honestly, they're always so excited to see what we're doing. And you're superstars. They see a student and they immediately want to know, why are you here? What do you want to do? Where do you come from? They're very excited to talk to our interns. There is the requirement of obtaining your Pennsylvania pesticide license within the first 6 months of the program. Again, something that all of our horticultural staff do as well. And then a successful completion of core skills assessment by the end of year 1. And this is just a benchmark testing to make sure that we are covering and you are retaining all of the really important but baseline horticultural requirements that you would need to know to be successful. And we'll talk a little bit about applicant requirements. We are requiring a high school diploma or the equivalence of a diploma. You must be at least 18 years of age when the program begins, and then there is no cutoff point from there. You must possess a valid driver's license that has not been suspended in the past 3 years. And you have to have a year of hands-on demonstrated experience in the field of horticulture. This isn't gardening at home, but it needs to be some kind of involvement in the community gardening, whether this is working for a garden center, volunteering at a public park or a horticultural institution, working on a land care company team, something that shows that you have the experience of working with plants, that you have the ability to work indoors and outdoors in adverse weather conditions. Pennsylvania can be hot and humid in the summer and cold and less than enjoyable in the winter. So all of those items are important. And we want to see that you have that experience and that you understand what this work looks like. As well as having the ability to work from a ladder, an aerial lift up to 30 feet, any kind of stooping and lifting at least 50 pounds, and operating small equipment. This application process will be completed in our online system. Again, all of that would be listed on our website, and you would need to submit all the required documents and be able to be interviewed by Zoom and then again in person. So the timeline of this, applications will open on April 1st of this year, and they close on June 1st. The applications will be reviewed, and then the selected applicants will be interviewed for a round 1 interview via Zoom. And then a round 2 in-person interview will be here in person at Longwood Gardens, August 10th or 11th. Travel expenses are then paid for by Longwood, so we make sure that everyone is able to get here and it doesn't present any hardship. Required documents for online. You'll see all of this listed here, as well as on our website. And if you have any questions, you can certainly ask me now in our chat box. I'll do my best to answer what I can. And if you have anything you think about later, just take a quick screenshot of this page and you are welcome to contact either Andy Gurka, he is the Director of Student Programs, or myself. And we are happy to help you and excited to move forward with our next cohort. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Are the gardens organic? We are not a strictly organic garden. Happy to talk to you more about that if you want to talk via email or the phone, but there are definitely pesticides and herbicides, but we use the safest option, the least toxic at any time, and make sure that all of our staff are well prepared and protected against anything. Does a student need to have completed a year of experience before applying? I would say you should be well into that year of experience. Yes, I mean, if you are 8 months in, 9 months in, that's going to work. But that full year is really what's going to help us pull that application away from those who don't have that experience. So I would say it's important for you to have as much experience as possible before applying. The cohort size is 10 students. So we onboard 10 students each year. Longwood Gardens provides insurance for driving Longwood vehicles. So you need driver's insurance to have a driver's license, but then you are insured by being at Longwood. Again, specific details can be worked out via email. How many applications do we get annually? The last time we held applications, I want to say we were between 80 and 90 applications, which then get broken down to 20 to come on site for in-person interviews and then 10 for the cohort. If you did have someone who wanted to handwrite and mail a letter of recommendation, I would say email myself or Andy Gurka, and we will work that out. And daily life on the campus. Daily life is going to vary depending on what block you're in, if you're doing the horticulture work rotations or if you're in class. but you are starting your day in horticulture probably by 6 a.m., meeting with the team that you're assigned. They're working out what the priorities are for the day. There should be moments within that workday where you're discussing what you're working on, a plant you're around, a weed you're working with. Do you see this plant? It's discolored. Horticulture staff are great instructors by doing. So they're going to be teaching you as they're working beside you. And then, say the day ends at 2:30, you could have a couple-hour break and then maybe an evening class. Depending on the time of year, maybe you have a garden at your tenant home that needs watered, or you have an activity with other students that you are taking part in. But if you're lucky, the day's over at 2:30 and the rest of the evening is yours, but there is always the potential for a class in the evenings, at least 1 or 2 days a week. And then if you're in class, you're coming up to the area of the garden referred to as the Grove. That's where our classrooms are. And most of your classes would be scheduled there in that building. Application tips. I want to know who you are. I want to see your passion, and I want to be excited by your excitement about horticulture. So make sure that you are telling your story, and yeah, that something about your application says to me, yes, this person understands and is passionate about the work and, the exposure to plants that they would gain from being here. I am a horticulturalist by training in my background, so I am looking to feel your enthusiasm. Weekend hours for weekend watering would be the only weekend times you'd be working for the most part. And that is a schedule that's worked out well in advance. So most students have at least a full year, if not their full 2 years of weekend waterings assigned when they start. They are usually a 4-hour shift in the morning, depending on weather. It could run a little bit longer. But all of that is communicated well in advance. And if there's a conflict, students often will swap weekends to make sure that the schedule works out for them. It is not a requirement to live on site. No. So if you are local and you would prefer to stay where you are, that is perfectly fine. Sure, this is a great question. For the hands-on horticulture experience, is there an approximate number of hours desired? It says 1 year. Part-time or full-time, you're right, it could be different. And so we are not particular about the hours. We just want to know that you have spent a significant amount of time. So our time frame is a year, assuming that you are regularly doing work around horticulture weekly. So even if it is part-time, that would not matter. Completion of the program does not guarantee you a job at Longwood, but it definitely makes you strongly desirable for a job at Longwood. So there are plenty of positions that are opening up regularly, and oftentimes our horticulture staff, looks very fondly on the students that they have already spent 2 years training and getting to know. And if you have impressed everyone at your time here, then it's a very good chance. What makes a successful candidate? What have older career changers struggled with? I think that a successful candidate is somebody, again, like I've mentioned, has the passion, is motivated to learn, and wants to get the most out of the opportunity. The biggest struggle for not just a career changer, but anyone, is the intensity of the work and classes. There is a lot that we are trying to provide you with in 2 years, and it can feel like you're juggling a lot of projects. It takes you right back to college when you're pulling an all-nighter to study for something, and you're working on a project with a group, or you have study abroad happening and you still have to water a greenhouse, and who's going to do that? So there are a lot of things to juggle. And I think if you come with this can-do attitude and a drive, and knowing that it is a finite period of time, you are here for 2 years to eat, sleep, and breathe Longwood and horticulture, I think you walk away with the best experience. 1 year experience in horticulture, yes. Work as a land steward would certainly count. Yes. What do I think is the biggest contributing factor for someone being chosen for the PH program? I think it helps if you have a strong interest in public horticulture and public gardening, because obviously we are a public garden, and so we want to support that green career. But really, all green careers are important and necessary. So having an idea of what you want to do, knowing that you have a passion and you are looking to pursue a career in horticulture in some level. When we see that, then you feel like a great investment, because we want to make sure that we are putting students through this program that then are going to graduate and go off to do great things in a green career and other horticulture industries. Working on the farm could definitely count as experience. I would say you would want to just elaborate on what that experience looks like, and that could definitely qualify. I would not call someone with a horticulture degree overqualified. We have had students in the past who have come here for the hands-on experience and have still said that some of the classwork has been challenging and has offered variety even on top of graduating with a horticulture career. Seasonal positions do count as required as experience for the required 1 year. Yes, you do not have to live on the grounds. What advice would you give someone deciding between this program and a traditional academic master's degree? Well, this program is going to be suited for a student who wants to be hands-on and, boots on the ground out there and involved with horticulture. There is some class time. There definitely is class time and homework, but hopefully we are skewing farther to the hands-on experience. So if you are the kind of person who loves being in a classroom and wants that really strongly academic experience, then an academic master's degree would probably be for you. But if you are saying, I want to be outside more than in, then horticulture at Longwood would be a good option. Useful recommendations for someone who has been outside of higher education for a while. You don't have an academic advisor to write you a reference letter. Appropriate recommendation letters could certainly be from previous employees or colleagues, someone who has known you in a professional capacity and can speak to your work ethic and interest level. Students don't always have opportunities to design the indoor displays, but they certainly do have the opportunity to work closely with the process to see how these things are decided. And there are times where there are certain installations that allow for a little bit more creativity, and they can be involved in that as well. So international students are not often, if ever, they don't apply for the Professional Horticulture Program because it is specifically a domestic program with visa requirements. We do have an international program at Longwood that can host students from anywhere in the world up to 9 months, but it is not included in the Professional Horticulture Program. This will also be recorded and placed on our website. So if you want to reference back to any of this, you certainly can. And see if I can find the last slide again. Unfortunately, you've all just been looking at my face instead of, and I just put back up there our contact information again. Apologies that it wasn't up there the whole time. And please don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I don't want to take up your entire evening, but we are happy to answer any of these questions that I didn't have a chance to get to. So reach out to myself or to Andy, both of us, one of us, and we would be happy to make your acquaintance and help you in any way that we can. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.